I remember panting and feeling like there was no way out. And so my thoughts are going everywhere. And now I'm rushing myself into anxiety. And now I'm crying. So all of these things that have happened was because I really didn't love myself. It didn't feel like anybody else loved me for who I was. I no longer have to be quiet about it. Like, I don't have to suffer in silence. I'm okay. You're okay. Let's just breathe.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Highest Version Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Felvong, and on this podcast, we talk about falling in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Today's guest is Yoshi Maysonet. They grew up in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and has always had a passion for the arts and dance. Now they are performing on a Broadway tour with the play or show and Juliet. They also got to experience dancing right next to Meghan Trainor on The Tonight Show. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest, Yoshi Maysonet. Hi, Yoshi.
And you hear the applause?
How?
Hi.
Oh my God, it's been such a long time. How are you? How are things? I know you're on toward the end of your tour right now, so I can only imagine how crazy things are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I'm also like kind of in a weird oh, now I get to like kind of settle down. We're like here in one city for like a lot more weeks than we usually are. So like I
Hmm.
get to sit down, have a chill pill, just yeah. But yeah, it's been crazy. It's been nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
How is that, I guess, performing for such a, I mean, when you attach Broadway to anything, like there's such a, I think, so much more pressure on it compared to a regular showcase or performance that you're doing.
yeah, I mean, especially with the show I'm doing right now, it feels very intense in the sense that like the show is written by it's written by David West Reed, who's written Schitt's Creek, and then
Mm,
also on top of that you have Max Martin music, and like he's also on the team, so that's just like you're like, oh, these are big names.
yeah, yeah.
And so like yeah, it's just the show is like it in the beginning it was very like we started learning very quickly to the point we were like, oh my God, this is so much dancing and so much singing at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it was just like a lot of that, and like you had to really just like keep it pushing. Like you just kind of like was like, okay, I can do this. I retained it. We can do the next number. So it was very intense in the beginning, and then kind of towards the middle, it felt like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. Like, um, I don't have to stress about what I'm doing now. I know the show, and I can honestly be like, okay, I don't have to stress about what
Hmm.
entrance I do or what exit I have to come out of. So yeah, it's been like a weird thing of like intense and then not intense and then intense but not intense. And so yeah.
And a roller coaster, but in that type of industry, can't say we're surprised, right? Can't say we're surprised about that.
No, it's like getting thrown in for a choreo the next day that you were like, oh, I didn't think I was doing this, and then I got asked to do it.
Oh, and you already know how much picking up choreo, how much like that is difficult in itself. So I can only imagine. I can only imagine what you're going through right now. So I want to get into the featured Funko Pop of the episode. So this is a Funko Pop that I usually dedicate to my guest, and the one I chose for you, as I pull it aside here, is Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And the reason why I'm so glad you had that reaction. The reason why I picked Katara is because as I was looking through your Instagram and profile and like looking at your captions, what you stand for, and at least like again, we haven't talked to each other for like years now. And
Yeah.
the last time that I was with you, I think you were in that flow, like kind of like focusing on flow at that time. And that really aligned with what, how you were talking about your own self values and how you're going through life. And for me, like you as a fluid individual and having how much flow has impacted your life, I cannot pick Katara. And I do want to also share that this is also the Funko Pop I chose for one of your great friends in life, Nalene. And I think it would be a disservice if I didn't put you guys in the same Funko Pop there. So
Yeah, I
yeah, I just want to get your thoughts there.
love. I mean, of course, I'm a water sign. I'm very like, I feel like I'm very much the type of person to go with the flow a lot of the time,
Hmm.
but uncertainty scares me. And then I'm like, oh no, we need to have a plan. But if like uncertainty is like right there in front of my face, but then I'm like, oh, never mind, I can chill and let things be. And just, but yeah, no, I absolutely love Katara. She is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
Yeah, and like, of course, that makes perfect sense that Nalene has also gotten that. Yeah, that is my soul sibling. That is
Mm,
my, yeah. She's taken care of me in so many ways that like, yeah, I'm always eternally grateful for. So
hmm.
yeah.
She would love to hear that. You are the one of the most requested people to come on this podcast. So hopefully I can we're gonna get there. We're gonna get your story. We're gonna talk through it all. So the first question I think I have to ask you is, how is your mental health nowadays? I know we talked about how crazy it is, but how is specifically your mental health nowadays?
I mean, now I'm kind of, well, in the beginning of this year, since when I started this job, I was doing honestly really, really well. I was very much like taking care of my anxiety and stuff like that. But I think now that the tour is ending and I know that it's like I'm coming to an end, and mind you, because like I also didn't really want to go into a year two because I was like, there are many other things that I want to do with my life, and just being on the road consistently just isn't going to allow me to do that. And so I knew that this was the best option for me, but at the same time too, now has been coming up recently.
Mm,
And mostly because it's like, oh, I'm going back to like New York and I'm gonna have to start doing a lot of other things, and like that is scary. Uncertainty is scary.
yes, yes, it is.
And so it's like I am consistently trying to reassure myself that I've done everything that I need to do to like basically be successful when I'm in New York again, and
Mm,
like just continuing my life in New York as well. And yeah, and so like it's just a lot of like anxiety of like, what if I don't have enough of this, and what if I don't get any job offers, or if I don't get any
mm,
auditions. But then like the that's like so unrealistic though too to like also think about. But it's just like it's a journey for artists, and so it's feels like you're always going to be on high anxiety because you're like, well, what is next?
mhm,
And I then kind of am like, but then when I'm like settled down, I feel like, okay, I can breathe a little bit more. I can just figure things out as we go, and like it's okay for what it is right now, and we can just continue to just try and find the things that will settle the anxiety. Um,
mhm,
because yes, I do have severe anxiety. So like I've been practicing many ways of how to like simply like just do exercises to create a safer space for myself, and then just for a safer space in my head as well. And
yeah,
sometimes that is talking positively about like who I am, or just doing things for myself that like help me and like help me start like my day. And that's sometimes just doing like my skincare routine, or literally just like drinking water the first time I get up and I'm like, okay, let me drink some water so that I at least am
mhm.
hydrated.
Yeah.
It's just like little things that I try and do to like also just settle the anxiety. I don't drink caffeine because yeah,
It's like a good and a bad. It's a there's two parts to it. It's either yes, it gives you the energy you need, but also like,
yeah,
man, if you have anxiety and like that just makes your
yeah,
go a whole lot faster. So completely, I'm with you on
yeah.
that one.
So I just, those were one of the things that I've kind of cut out of my life. There are certain things that I just don't do because I know that for myself, it's not a good thing. And so, like, for me too, it's like, where can I align myself with and what is going to make me at least feel much more healthier? And like, because I know that there are things I could gravitate to and like use it. And I'm just like, eh, do I really want to do that? And like, is that going to make me feel any better? And so I'm like,
Mm.
I already have severe anxiety. Why would I make it worse?
Yeah, fair. Yeah, for sure.
And so there are just certain things that I just like decided not to do anymore because I was just like, this would make my anxiety a lot worse. And I really am working towards becoming friends with my anxiety instead of feeling like I'm consistently fighting my anxiety.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just like an understanding of like what my anxiety really, really hates. And like sometimes too, it's also talking about like when I do feel anxiety, I realize too, I'm like, I need to also just speak up about it. Like, I need to be like
Mhm.
around my friends. If I feel it, I'm like, hey, I actually want to be a shell right now because I'm feeling anxious. And
Mhm.
like, I have a really great community too here on tour that like understands that too. And like, yeah, it's very, it it's learning it. And it's like, I no longer have to be quiet about it. Like I don't have to suffer in
Mm.
silence, which is like
Mhm.
something I used to do. And now when I do have anxiety pop up, I'm like, hey, y'all, I have anxiety right now. And
Yeah.
then they'll like my friends will be like, oh, why? What's going on? Like, what do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about it? And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, the obstacle when it comes to even admitting that you're going through that, going through anxiety is already a big step enough. And like you said, like you had to suffer in silence for a little bit. Can you kind of give us a little bit into like the questions that you ask yourself when you feel like you're having anxiety in the moment? Because I know you mentioned like, oh,
Yeah.
where do I need to go right now for me to
Yeah.
calm the water down a bit?
Well, so when my anxiety pops up, I try to basically psychoanalyze it a little bit sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm
Mm-hmm.
too deep into it, it's harder to psychoanalyze it.
Right.
Um, because then I'm like into the emotions of it and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this right now. But when it's more mild and like sometimes it'll be like something that happens, like it's so funny because there's this I'm gonna use an example. There's this thing that I think people have started to use where they like realize that if people who are unwanted touch them, it's like and and mind you, it could be like you touched my shoulder or like and it's like
Mm-hmm.
unwanted though. It can send like a trigger of some sort, and that can also heighten your anxiety as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes when it's stuff like that, like I'm like, oh, why do I feel my anxiety rushing right now and what's going on? And sometimes it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, because like I didn't give this person access to like even touch me and like or like just
Yeah.
like put their hands on me in any way. And so of course my safety feels like it's at risk. And
Right.
sometimes that is like a trigger and sometimes it's like, oh, I'm okay. I'm in a safe space. Like, and I have to ask myself, like, why do you feel that? Where is that coming from? And that, of course, is like, oh, okay, well, there's trauma behind it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have to be like, what space are we in right now? And is it safe enough to talk about? And like
Mm.
I've had to have conversations with friends because I've had to be like, hey, I don't think I feel comfortable when you do this. And it's more so that I'm protecting myself and making sure that there's not a line being crossed, and like even if there was a line already crossed, I'm just I'm growing into this person who's like, oh, I just need to set boundaries.
Yeah,
And like those boundaries are also making sure that like I'm protecting my anxiety and I'm also protecting myself, and like making sure that like then once if say so me and a friend get to that point of like, oh, okay, I feel now like safe and okay around you again, then that's where like I just yeah, I'm like, okay, we can bring touch back into this friendship, but it's like sometimes it takes a while depending because it feels
yeah,
it also like it like you have to have boundaries within friend groups as well because
of course.
you kind of realize, oh wait, no, like if I have boundaries with everybody else, I should have boundaries with my friends as well. And
Yeah, yeah,
and so like yeah, there's just like those little things that like I have to like talk to myself about first and be like, okay, so we could have this conversation with this person. Now, if the anxiety is not related to a person and I end up being really, really into my emotions and like I I then have to usually write down whatever it is that I'm going through. And
mm-hmm.
so for me to process also, oh, I feel X, Y, and Z because Z was off
Mm-hmm.
and Z was trailing and I just didn't know it was going everywhere inside my system and I couldn't grab hold of it and I was just like, oh, you need attention. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why this anxiety has stirred up now because like it feels everywhere and it
Yeah,
feels off balance now. And so my thoughts are going everywhere. And now I'm rushing myself into anxiety. And now I'm crying.
yeah,
That's okay.
yeah,
But it's like then I have to like I'm like, okay, this is what I was thinking. This is what I was feeling. This is also what I was thinking. And this is what I was feeling. Is this reoccurring now? Yes or no? No. And like it's like reading that and being like, okay, coming back to myself, and I'll do some meditation exercises, breathing exercises. I started doing stuff for like what I some of my friends also have anxiety, so I've just started doing stuff for them. But then I've
mm-hmm.
just asked for them to do for me because sometimes I'm like, oh, I actually really need this right now. Can you hold me really tight and just like squeeze me?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But yeah.
I mean, I think it's a beautiful, I guess, like tool belt of things that you are doing to create a better relationship with anxiety. And I loved how you said you look at anxiety as not something to be feared of, but to be something to have a relationship with. Because I feel like society, or those who maybe at the beginning of their mental health journeys, they look at depression and anxiety as things as like, oh well, there's something wrong with me, so I need to like fix myself, right? And like
I
those
mean, I
things,
was
yeah,
there.
yeah,
I
no,
was
and
there.
for sure, and like those things aren't as hard as it is for us to for that pill to swallow. Is that it's not something that will go away forever. Like
Mhm.
it's like, okay, with like depression, at least in my standpoint, it's like, oh, like, well, there are times I'm gonna be like really sad. There will be times that I'm really thinking these negative thoughts, and like yourself, like doing the same thing. Okay, like why, what am I feeling, whether it's physically or emotionally, what event triggered it, finding out what the trigger is and what thought am I having, and really breaking it down to be it being like, okay, like where is this coming from? And most of it has come from, at least from my perspective, not my perspective, my own experiences of low self-worth, perfectionism, making mistakes, all that stuff. And yeah, I mean the relationship piece, right? When did you kind of realize instead of fighting your anxiety that you had to kind of look at it as like a relationship? Because I know that's something very hard to do.
I don't really remember when I started. I kind of like just remember like I never wanted to feel like the way I felt when I got an anxiety attack or like a panic attack.
Hmm.
And I started off trying to just fix that. I was like, well, I'm gonna fix this because
Hmm.
I don't like how it makes me feel and I'm not, yeah, and so like I would just try and like almost like numb it to a point where I was like, I don't want to feel this. But then feelings always have a way of showing up
Yeah,
and
yeah,
coming to the surface. Um, but I think it did get to a point where like I had done so much work that I really was like, my anxiety is also just trying to protect me in a way that like it doesn't understand as well, like what like viewing, but it sends a shock of like, oh, we have to hide, we have to go into safety.
yeah,
And it's sometimes like telling like wherever that anxiety lands within the body, it's sometimes literally holding that piece of yourself and being like, we're okay and we're safe,
hmm,
and I want you to know that you're okay. And so it's like communicating with your anxiety and being like, hey, I know that you feel like you have to make us go into safety mode and like protect us right now, but I promise you everything is okay right now. And you don't have to feel that. I'm okay, you're okay. Let's
hmm,
just breathe.
yeah,
And like sometimes that's kind of all it takes for me to like I in that moment when I started doing that, I was just like, oh, this is a relationship. This
hmm.
is this is me talking to my anxiety. It's like me talking, well, no one knows I do this, but they will know now. But it's like me talking to the sea, it's me talking to the moon, it's me talking to the stars.
Hmm.
It's it's encompassing everything that I am and everything in the universe as well. And so it's bringing that back to like home, and like home is the body, and like yeah, it's a relationship. And so
Yeah,
yeah, I think like that sort of came into my life probably 2022, I want to say, or 2023, around there. And like I started just like reintroducing that of like, oh, I'm in a relationship with my anxiety right now.
yeah,
And it's a difficult one, but it's it's a relationship worth doing the work for,
yeah,
to at least get to a place where I can also self-regulate myself
hmm,
and like be okay with that and like understand that like, oh, I've done the work and I know I can do this.
hmm.
And so
Yeah, I mean, beautifully said and all that. And I don't know why when you were talking, I was like tearing up and I was like, I think it's because my inner anxiety is just like listening and being like, yeah, we are okay, but like it doesn't feel like it's okay, you know? Like uh
yeah.
I really feel like there's a concept around anxiety where a main question that people ask is like, okay, well, what are we scared of? Like what are we, by we I mean, yourself and your thoughts, like what are we scared of right now? And that's something that has really helped me because there's a distinction between like, if we go back to caveman times, uh like cave people times, it's like dinosaurs, saber-toothed tigers, like those are like real life threatening things, right? But then there's the
Yeah.
imagination fear of for example, like embarrassment, right? So it's not like a physical like fear that we like can see. It's more of a perspective fear. And I feel like a lot of, at least my anxiety or a lot of people, other people's anxieties are like, that's what really triggers that, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's like, oh, like it's not like anything's harming us right now, but we may be thinking about a worst case scenario about an event that's happening, or afraid that, if you're on stage, have anxiety of messing up, a part of the choreo, right? Like, I mean, that's gotta
Yeah.
be instilled in you at that beginning, like, it's 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 these things that we really have to be like, okay, that's an imaginative fear, like that, we're okay. We're okay. That's not actually going to
Mhm.
harm us. It's just us harming ourselves.
Yeah.
Have you watched Inside Out 2?
Yes, I have.
Bro, did you bawl? Please tell. I bawled at the end of
So,
that movie.
so okay, I didn't bawl as much as I did the first time around because the first one I did. The second one, however, I didn't as much, but I did feel for it. Like I understood
Mm,
it because I was like, oh, this is me. This is my story. I was like, it's crazy. I'm like, and but like it was funny because I think there was also things in it that I was like, I feel like I would have done certain things differently for this movie, and
ooh.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
so because I live with anxiety, and technically when there was like the scene where she was like really panting and like
Yeah.
breathing heavy and like
Spoiler
she
alert.
finally like
Sorry.
sorry, oh yes, spoiler alert. Also, if you haven't seen it, what are you
Yeah, have you
doing?
watched it? Yeah. Like, true.
It's been
True.
like 2 years. Please
Okay,
go
go ahead. Go ahead. Go
go
ahead.
go watch it. Um, but like when she's like literally panting and like she's like looking at everything, it's so funny
Hmm.
in that scene though. I would have changed it, and in the sense of how I would have changed it was because I remember panting and feeling like there was no way out. And so I
Hmm.
think because like I could think about my teenage self, and what my teenage self was asking for was somebody to see them and to
Mm,
hug them in that moment and ask them questions about like, hey, are you okay? And
yeah.
like for me to be like, no, I don't feel okay. And like for someone to accept that and be like, okay, we can work this out and we can figure things out and we can get you a counselor or get you a therapist, and like we'll we'll guide you here, but like I want you to know that I'm here for you, and I
Mm,
want you to know that, because in that moment she looked around and she like kind of regulated herself. She was like, which
yeah.
is honestly so perfect. Like it is a it is a perfect scenario, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always happen like that. I'm like
Hell no.
I'm like, there are moments where you actually just need somebody to come up to you and literally hold you tight. And in that moment,
Mm,
I wished that she was like bawling her eyes out. And one of her friends saw her and was just like, hey, oh my God. And like held her tight to the point
mm,
where like, they were like, what do you need in this moment? Are you okay? What do you need? And in that moment, I know she would have just like then breathed so many like breaths and then been like, okay, um, this has been going on and like I'm gonna miss you guys, and I feel like things are changing and I'm scared of change, and like
mm,
I've had those conversations with my friends. I'm like, I'm scared of change. I'm truly
yeah.
scared of change because it comes in ways that you don't expect it to come, and like you can't really control that, and that's okay, but we never learned that that was okay. And
No.
so like we like and so like also too that like I feel like that's why a lot of relationship friendships like they stay very stagnant because you don't expect them to change, but
Mm-hmm.
they will change. And like honestly, I'm giving Nalene a shout out because she really she really did help me. And she was one of the first people in my life who literally was like, "Hey, I saw that you changed your pronouns. Do you want me to use your pronouns?" And I
Mm,
never talked to anybody about when I first like had come into like changing my pronouns and like
yeah.
going by non-binary. Like I literally was like, I was like, I'm just gonna put it on my profile on Instagram and I'm just not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
And she was literally, and this is like top tier, one of the best friends I've ever had in my life to literally sit me down and be like, "Hey, I saw this and I just wanted to ask if that's what you want." And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, I've just like, yeah." Like, and like, mind you, I'm nervous talking about it because I was like, I was still very new at the time. And it was like when I was probably 20 or yeah, 2021. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, and she was just like, "Hey, I want to be here for you. So whatever makes you feel comfortable, I just want you to feel comfortable." And Nalene is one of the best people to like literally go to and feel like if you did something shitty
Yeah.
or like just like if you feel shitty for something, she's one of the best people to like literally have a conversation with and be like, "Hey, I feel like I just need to vent and like tell me if I'm honestly a horrible person." And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I just yeah, but yeah, she's like literally in one of those moments that like I fully didn't come to terms with myself and I was just like, this is a change. I'm scared. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't there and of course a lot of people don't take it good and some people
Yeah. Yeah.
are, you know, gonna struggle with it and that's okay. As long as I'm always like I'm as long as you're just continuing to like learn of me and I learn of you, like
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. We don't have to stay stagnant. And
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of things like honestly suffer because we don't see everybody for who they are in the moment and we don't decide to like change that view of them as they grow. And so like then you're just like, well, I have to leave you behind because you're not seeing me for who I am in this moment. And
Mm.
so yeah, it was just like ramping on, but you know
No,
too.
no, you're good. No, not Naleen. If you guys, for context, Naleen is a great friend of both me and Yoshi. If you haven't caught her episode, make sure you do. Go to my page. It was an amazing episode. But yeah, she is that type of friend. You need those type of people in your life to really,
Mhm.
be there for you, be honest with you. And yeah, she's a prime example of like just if she really like cares for you and stuff like that. I mean, she cares for everyone, but like if you're really close with her like that, like she will be there for you in those circumstances, whatever you possibly need. Like she was the one that asked me like we had a lunch the other day and she was like I was talking about how like friendships are weird nowadays and not weird but like I feel like I may be losing people or like I get in my head about if I don't talk to someone for a certain like
Yeah.
amount of frequency, then I'm like, oh, like we, they must hate me or we're not friends or anything like that. And she was like, well, what do you need from me as a friend? And I was like, wow, it's such a simple question, but like it doesn't get asked often because everyone thinks like friendship
Yeah.
is all like the same thing. And then I was like, dang, I don't know. That's a good question. And then finally, like, I let her know, like, oh, like maybe we can catch up like once a quarter and stuff like that, because that's what I needed to feel like, hey, like we're cool. Because yeah, I mean, I do have
Yeah.
friends that like I don't see often, and when we come back to each other, like it's fine. But like in the magnitude, like with my friendship with Nalene, like there would be the times like we don't like talk to each other, and then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like did she hate me? Like, like, what did I, like, what did you start over analyzing and then, the anxiety comes in and then,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I do want to put the nice bow tie on anxiety, on the topic of anxiety. And, for someone who is struggling, maybe similar in the early stages of, when you were going through anxiety and having severe anxiety, what's something that or some ways we can I'm not sure if it's words or ways that they can cope with anxiety or severe anxiety, like in the moment or maybe a little bit after. So like, what ways can we help someone cope with their anxiety? Uh, yeah. Sorry, long-winded question.
No, no. Honestly, I think if you know somebody with anxiety, I think the first thing to always do is always ask, do you need space or do you need comfort? And that's something that I'm learning to also just like ask others. Do you need space or do you need comfort? What does comfort look like to you? Do you need a hug or do you just need me to sit here with you as you literally talk or vent to me about what it is you're anxious about? Now, if you are in anxiety and you feel like you have anxiety and you have severe anxiety, I think the first steps for you is to also just realize that you are not alone. And if there's a friend you have that you trust, or there's just a human who like you continually talk to, I would suggest talking to them, being like, hey, I really want to open up about this and I feel
Mhm.
comfortable about talking to you about it. And that's always a good segment to also allow somebody in instead of not letting them in and feeling like you're alone because that we are our worst enemies when we come to grieving or like processing things. We process it on our own and that's sometimes okay. But when you feel that you can't, I suggest talking to your community, your friends, somebody who you really, really trust, um, because they are going to help you and you're going to realize, oh, that was so much easier to deal with than it was on my own.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. I I felt like for most of my time dealing with anxiety, like I think my whole journey, not to say did it alone, but I felt like for the most part I did. And like it's I'm not sure if the right term is catch 22, but yeah, like when you're on this journey, like it really is on, you're going to be the one that's going through it. Like, yes, you can put out your hand, but there's also things that you need to do like on your own. Um,
Yeah.
and it's anxiety in itself is its own relationship. So yeah, I think those are two beautiful points on how to deal with things, either if you have it or if you know someone else that has it. So I do
Yeah.
want to transition into this topic of self identity and self acceptance, because when I was reading through your post and just the person that you are, I feel like you are a gold mine when it comes to that. And I want to read something that you posted, and I gotta say, when I read this, I was just like jumping off my couch or like pumping fists, and I was like, how the hell did you come up with this? And I'm not sure if I copied everything right, but hopefully I did. But you said, I'm getting more and more comfortable with the idea that I am ever evolving. That isn't the stop. That I'm always to be seen in new frames. I'm growing more and more comfortable with the skin I am in, how I see myself, how I see others, how I choose to love, how I face the days head on. I am grateful to know I'm consistently learning of these things within myself, how my queerness has helped shape me in a lot of these questions I've had or have been asked before. I am proud and I am here. Let me get some slow claps for people listening or watching. Get the claps going, because come on. I mean, that is such a powerful message. And, I just want to know, like, you know, of course, like in order for you to get to that point, you had to go through a struggle of self acceptance and identity. Um, you know, where where did that start for you to have you evolve, for you to be able to write that message?
Well, it feels like it's never been easy to almost like get to that point to like be able to like talk about myself in that way or about anybody in that way.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been a struggle because I there are people who I grew up around who didn't accept my queerness, and there were very close family members who didn't accept that that was like a part of like my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, I fought them a lot, and I fought their ideas on it very much so. I fought people's ideas on gender as well. I'm like, what do you mean? The
Mm-hmm.
guys only take out the trash. Like stuff like
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like that I would just be like, what are you talking about? Like that's so stupid. What?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was just like, I always would fight people, but then I think I came to, I kind of, once I kind of turned like 18, I kind of started like going into this journey of like, I need to really love myself because I felt like my whole entire, but like my freshman year of high school was pretty great, but like most of my high school years was not so great. And I kind of really hated myself to the point where I was like, if this is okay, I mean, um, please put a suicide warning.
Yep, yep,
um,
yep.
please.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think like that anymore. But when I was in high school, I did try to commit suicide twice. And it didn't it didn't dawn on me that it was a problem because it felt like I was the problem, and
Mm.
that like I prayed to God to like make me normal, which like is crazy. It's crazy for a kid to like pray and be like, please make me normal. Um, so all of these things that have happened was because I really didn't love myself because it didn't feel like anybody else loved me for who I was. And so I had to hate myself because it was clear to me that no one understood. Um, but that was also like very false because there were some people who like did love me. And like
Yeah.
I just couldn't see it because I was so stuck on the people who like wanted to either change me or tell me what to do or make me feel that like what I had I didn't deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And so clung on to those thoughts that weren't even my own. And so I would consistently tell myself those things. And I think when I left high school, I was like, no, I don't believe that. That's kind
Mm-hmm.
of crazy. And I was just like, I want to live life. I do. And I want to feel like I actually love myself and like I can love the parts of me that like I didn't love and
Mm-hmm.
like I continue to like try and like love the parts of me that are still ever evolving.
Yeah.
And like it got to that point where I was just like, I need to change something. I need to change something for myself. And so, of course, I think it started really in like when I left high school. And even then, like, there are still some stuff that I'm still working towards. And I'm like, sometimes when I catch myself, sometimes I'll be like, oh, that was stupid of me to do. And then, or like, I'll be like, oh, I'm so stupid for doing that. And I'll be like, "Oop, no, 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 you're not stupid. You did a mistake. That's okay. But you're not going to call yourself stupid."
Mm-hmm.
And so like
Yeah.
there are certain things that like I have to catch myself from saying, or like I have to stop myself and be like, hey, that wasn't nice. And it's so funny because in my cast right now there is a person who she started doing this, and it's like if you talk negatively about yourself, she'll be like, hey, don't talk to my friend like that.
Hey, yeah.
And so like it's kind of funny because like now I'm seeing it like in all of us. We're using positive things to say and be like, don't talk about my friend like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
um and so yeah, I don't know. I just like and like my queerness is a big part in who I am
Mm-hmm.
because it feels very comforting. It feels like my identity is not correlated to one thing, but to all things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so finding my path this year was also just like I have a community of people who also are non-binary, who are also queer, who are also open to searching of themselves in so many other ways, and like who are open to having conversations like that, and who don't judge you or don't accept you. Like these are the most accepting people I've come into contact with, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna, I feel like I can love myself now, and I'm at the place where I can really just say I love younger me, even when younger me really didn't love themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
I can say that, and like the one thing I wish I could really do is really hug my younger self and be
Yeah.
like honestly hold my teenage self and be like, you're gonna make it and you're gonna be so okay. You just really, really need a moment. And I want you to know that you are lovable. You are truly lovable. And you have such a light within you that can beautifully shine in the right spaces. And just like hold them and like let them know. And I can say that now. Was I able to say that before? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit. But like now I feel like I can say that, and now I'm excited to like also see what future me is gonna look like, or is gonna be like, or is just gonna, you know, I don't know, just being. And I'm like, I'm continuously just trying to be, and I'm continuously just trying to share love and just have open arms for people as well who like don't understand themselves or like just like are trying to figure it out. And like we're all trying
Mm-hmm.
to figure it out. But like, and it's like coming from that place too, it's like, are you being harmful or are you being accepting? Are you
Yeah.
being open? Like it's like those you have those consistent conversations with yourself because it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have to in order to like keep on evolving, keep on
Yeah.
like changing your perspective on things that you thought once were right, and now you're like, wait a second, I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I don't believe God made me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm and then so like it's just like those things that like have shaped like who I am as a person. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I feel like yeah, queerness has just been such a beautiful thing
Mm-hmm.
for my identity, for a lot of my friends' identities, for us having a community of people to like gather and just like be. and
Yeah.
and what does that, and I feel like it's a conversation of like what does that look like without all these things that we've
Mm-hmm.
had faced or put in front of ourselves. What does
Yeah.
that look like without being like, this is a boy's shirt? What do you mean? What do you
Yeah.
mean? It's a
It's a
piece of
shirt.
clothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a shirt.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's questioning what society has just like placed
Mm-hmm.
and made normal. And you're
Right.
like, actually, that's garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
you, I mean, when you said like, when you back then, when you were saying like, you're praying like, oh, you wish God like made you normal. And it's like, in my head, the first reaction was like, well, what is normal? Right. When we think about other, like what is normal to you or to me may be different to normal for someone else, and that's life. Like that is what perspective is, right? That's literally the definition of perspective. It's just how some people hold on to this sense of normal like a little bit too strong, you know what I mean? And that's like that's
Yeah.
can what really hurts, I think, like just our perspectives of ourselves. So with all of like your journey and everything, like how can we learn to accept ourselves for who we are?
That is the conversation like most people should be having with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's an open dialogue. It's asking yourself, how do I feel about this? And does it matter what I feel? And like it's just like also setting yourself in spaces and listening to people who are not like you. It's listening to others talk about their journey. It's listening
Yeah.
to people who are literally like just figuring it out and like being open to the point where you're like, wow, that was brave for, it's so brave for that person to like speak on what they've gone through or what they've like experienced. And
Mm-hmm.
it's taking the time to just be there. It's taking the time to understand rather than fully go into a judgment zone.
Yeah.
And it's really honestly going back into your own life and like having that conversation of like, well, why do I feel like, and maybe honestly, I'm going to speak about this like in a parent like way, like, why do I feel like my son can't play with dolls?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's because my father kept telling me that I couldn't play with dolls or that I had to do this as a man and I had to do this as a man. And it's all those things that were set in place for you to fail to have a relationship with your child.
Mm-hmm.
To simply be like, hey, if this is what you want to play with, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, your child is going to realize the love that you give them, the love that
Yeah.
they're receiving, and the acceptance that you're giving them. And that's it. They're going to just
Mm-hmm.
feel that. And then it's up to you to now figure out, okay, what do I have to dismantle in myself that I can't accept
Mm-hmm.
about my child? Because there's something inside of me that I can't accept. And so it's like, it's breaking that down. Because even I've gone through it. I'm like, well, why don't I accept this? Or like when there was like these examples of like also like we would say somebody would there was always this saying of like, oh, if I'm dating a girl, it's because I'm dating a girl. And that is very, very like wrong in so many ways. But it was like basically if I'm a feminine girl at the time
Mm-hmm.
I'm dating, the reason why I'm dating a girl is because I'm dating a girl. And so she also has to be feminine. But then I was like, why was that placed in my head when like I feel like it can be anybody.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can I can date a girl who's masculine. I can date a girl who's feminine. I can date a girl who's in between. And it shouldn't really matter. But in that sense, it was like it was also like I was in a relationship like that where basically the other like there was like other people who were like, well, I don't feel comfortable that you're feminine today, or I don't feel comfortable that you're masculine today. And I'm
Mm.
like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's because you're not accepting yourself. You're not accepting yourself. So you have to tell me that you feel uncomfortable because you're not accepting the fact that like the reason you're in a relationship is because you wanna if I mask, that gives you the right to be like it's kind of like a straight relationship, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like if I'm masked and you're feminine, you have a reason to be like, well, like you're like a guy. Honey, I'm not a guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a
Yeah.
girl. Like
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Right.
it's like you're trying to still place these ideals that like don't exist within myself. And so once, and I mind you, I've been in relationships like that who have tried to place these ideals and they don't work out. Why? Because you're not accepting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fully accepting myself. So this is not going to work out. And
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
and so when a lot of people are like, what can I do? Accept yourself. Figure it out. Figure out what inside you is not being accepted and
Mm-hmm.
understand that that's just like literally the whole world. We're walking around with signs that are like, we don't accept ourselves. So we're going to not accept everybody else. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's, and come from a place of love and be like, I really need to accept the parts of myself that I feel like have been closed off because of society.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, accept yourselves. Love yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you've really touched on a lot and with, you know, in terms of like self acceptance, like there's things that we don't want to accept within ourselves because we're fear of how it's going to be accepted by the outside world. And you
Yeah.
really just need to have that conversation with yourself of, do I really like, what do I really like about like taking what we don't accept about ourselves and say, okay, like, do we like it? Do we not like it because of the outside world, or do we not like it because we genuinely don't like it? And that's a really hard conversation to just really flow through with. And I guess what better, like, not better questions, but what elaborate questions can we really get to a conclusion within ourselves where we're like, okay, like, no, like I'm okay with this, or like, oh, okay, like I actually don't, I'm actually not okay with that, and I'm gonna keep moving forward with it regardless.
Well, everybody's different. That's the thing. And so, like, I think if there is something that, like, you feel like, "Ugh, this keeps popping up in my head, maybe that's a conversation to have then. If it keeps
Mm-hmm.
popping up and it's like, oh, I feel like I should address this,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what you should address. Because a lot of the times I feel like people end up shoving this like popping question mark that's like keeps on like popping up and like you're just like, ah, no, 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 no. I'm shoving it to the back. No, no, no. I'm gonna leave that for later. To the point then you have people who are like, oh, I didn't realize that I liked peanut butter because I just kept on shoving it all the way back. And I was like, nah, I'll try it later. I'll try it later. No, it's just not really accepted around here. So like I can't. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have people who try it. But then you do have people who are allergic to it. And and sometimes that's like, oh, that's a big no-no. Like, and that's okay. That's also like
Right.
boundaries. I can't do peanut butter because I am allergic to it. And that's okay. But there are sometimes people who do like peanut butter, but they just didn't, they never tried it because either it was not accepted or it was just like, oh, we don't do that here. Or, you know, it's like pushed to the back and you're just like, when is it going to be the day where where you allow yourself to have that conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Peanut butter keeps on popping up into my head. Maybe I should try it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the conversation I need to have. So I had a peanut butter sandwich and honestly, wasn't bad. It's like as simple as it seems,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like I understand too, we are very complex humans, and therefore our emotions, and sometimes rationalizing everything too is like will feel like, oh well, I don't really need to do it because it's whatever, but it's gonna keep on popping up in our systems, and so like
Mm.
until we like decide for ourselves, maybe honestly, I should just really have a conversation with myself about why I don't like peanut butter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can't ignore those like intuition, those like those things within yourself that keep bringing into your life. So I definitely, yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying here. Yoshi, I mean, there's I could talk for hours, and I love this conversation. And just like it, just I know we haven't talked to each other in a few years, but it just reminded me how beautiful of a person that you are, and how accepting and loving you are. And I feel like it's just a testament to where I would hope a lot of people, in my community and your community can really continue to be. So I want to say thank you for coming on and just speaking about your story, speaking about, you know, your journey in mental health related topics too. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me on. I was happy to do this.
Yeah, because that's always a good thing to hear that you're not ever forced to do this.
No, 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 never, never, never.
So I want to get into questions from the audience. We have a
Okay.
couple questions here, and the main question, one of the questions that are here is, this is a little fun one. So I know in your fun facts you said you love mint chocolate. Um,
Yeah,
do you disagree with people when they say mint chocolate tastes like toothpaste?
I do.
Hmm.
I do. I do. Because you know what? Mint on itself is a leaf, and chocolate on itself is chocolate. So guess what? You're not eating toothpaste, okay?
Boom, gavel. Say it with your chest. There you go. The second question I have for you, or from the audience, is what's your favorite thing about being on tour?
Um, Honestly, getting to visit the different cities I've gotten to visit.
Hmm.
Um, New Orleans was honestly one of the best cities that I got to visit this year. And I suggest everybody to visit New Orleans. See the music, like live in the music. Like the live music is truly one of the best things there. The food is also amazing. And
I've
so
heard.
everybody should. It's truly amazing. Get yourself a seafood boil. But yeah, that it's like traveling to all these places have been like truly one of the best things that like I've been going to like cute coffee shops or like just like visiting the cities and like walking around, going on hikes, like and stuff like that. And it's honestly been really, really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean the traveling. The I mean I've heard so much about New Orleans, and one day I'll get there. When it's not too hot. So I know it gets muggy there all the time. So thank you for that
Yeah.
suggestion. So I'm looking down right now because I have a special present for you. I'm gonna send it to you through an email. Through
Ooh.
email. So I asked your soul sibling to write you a one-page letter. So I just sent it to you. And then when you get it, just feel free to open that up, um, and then yeah, read it out loud whenever you're ready.
Well, okay. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
It says Yoshi. If you wrote a book about your life, there are just certain people you wouldn't be able to tell the story without. I remember how, oh my God, not me.
It's okay. It's
Truly one of
okay.
the most, yeah, yeah. I remember how Howard looked at us when he said this to us the first time. You, my friend, would take up chapters in mine. Where would I even start the story of us? When we first met at YDO, when you were my replacement, honestly, I barely knew you back then. LOL. Or maybe years later after my driving test when Howard and I paid you an unwelcome visit at Panera. Oh my God. There, let's start there. October 3rd, 2018. Oh my God, I hated Panera. I hated working at Panera. One of the worst things ever for for myself. Um, People say that so many possibilities open up once you're able to drive. The places you'll go, the people you'll meet, the opportunity to finally pierce through the teeny bubbles we were raised in, discover ourselves, whatever that's supposed to mean, and manifest what's meant for us. That part I think is worth learning. Who knew that the day I got my license and got celebratory ice cream with you and Howard was the very day I found an ounce of courage to maybe fall in love with dance again. Is it true? She was going to. Crying for her as well. You probably didn't know it then, but you inspired me to embark on a dance journey where through the confusion, pain, imposter syndrome, doubt, heartbreak, the list goes on. I came out of the other side embracing myself more tightly. I redefined my self-worth. I owe a lot of my healing to dance, and you brought me back to dance. I owe a lot of my healing to you. But let me clarify. I consider you one of my dearest friends, not because of all that you've done for me, but all of the ways you've made me feel along the way. Safe, seen, appreciated, loved, supported, validated. The list goes on too. And I hope I've held space for you to feel them. The warmth you radiate is undeniable. Your smile, the brightest in the room. Your laugh, the loudest in the room. I am truly blessed to know you in all the versions you've shared with me. We started as little rosebuds, but I think you're continuing to bloom, and knowing we're here together is the most precious experience I've ever known. So, my Scorpio soul sibling, thank you for all that you are, with all the love in the world, knowing
Who's
I'm gonna
cutting
have to call her
onions?
later.
Who's cutting onions? Oh my god, even that got me teary eyed. Oh,
Yeah,
Nalene's so good with her words. And guess what? She did this on a flight. I asked her, I asked her so late, and
well,
she's like, "Yeah, I got you." She did this on a flight, and she did so good. So,
well,
Nalene, if you're listening to this,
she,
props to you. Uh,
I, yeah, I'm gonna have to call her and be like, you made me cry, and you weren't even there.
but
Oh,
yeah, this is something that I try to do with my guests as much as with my guests that I have on the podcast as much as possible, because I think, like you said, we are our own worst enemies, and
yeah.
we don't give ourselves credit for the impact that we make on other people, because it's something that is not expressed as often as it probably should be, and sometimes we lose sight of that because we're so lost in like our own lives. So that's the reason why I made this part of my podcast, because I want my guests and for them to make sure that they know that they are loved, no matter how many times that they, no matter how much they don't think so. So I just want to get your
Mhm.
thoughts on just the letter, your initial reactions, the whole nine yards about
Um, I mean, tears. I no, anytime I think about our relationship and like how it like started off, it's very much like it's very emotional because like I know she was at a place in her life where it felt very dim, and I was at a place in my life where it felt very dim. And so I don't know, for us to also collectively just find something that we could bond and like share, and then also just like continuously have my back in and like I have her back in. Like it truly is a story that like my story cannot be without her as well. Like
Mm.
it's one of those things where it's like no it's in there. Um and so yeah, it's just it it's very much so connected, and no matter how far we are from each other, I'm like still very emotional about her because I'm like no, like you are my soul sibling, and like we found each other in this lifetime, and like I'm sure we're gonna find each other in the next lifetime. But yeah, that Panera really got me too. I said Panera. Ooh.
That
I
was a
hated
pain point for sure.
I hated working at Panera. I would have the death stare. I would literally be like, "Oh, I hate this job."
Oh man, it's all
I
right. You're
couldn't
on to
eat
bigger and
there
better
for like
things
so
now.
long. Literally,
Hey,
I couldn't eat there for so long.
you were protecting your home. You were protecting yourself. You knew what was not good for your home within yourself. So you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I absolutely love that letter. I will be calling her to be like, "You made me cry."
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. That's what I want. That's the clickable point right there. That's the clickbait right there. You cry. You're just kidding. You're not doing it. I'm not doing it because of that. Not doing it
Hey,
because of that.
I'm an emotional person already, and I allow myself to cry so many times. So like this is nothing new.
Fair enough.
Allow
Fair enough.
yourself to cry. Allow yourself to cry. It's so healthy for you.
Yes. Snaps, snaps all around. Snap, snaps. So, Yoshi, let's get into the last three questions I will be asking you on this episode, and I call them the big three questions. These are the last three questions that can leave a final impact on our viewers, on our listeners. So, you already answered this one already, but if you could go back to sit down with a younger Yoshi, what would that interaction be like? That could be advice or any action movements.
I mean, yeah, I definitely did. But it would definitely be to like literally just sit down, hug myself, and tell myself like, you are so good. You are so full of light. You are so full of love. And people are gonna love you because of that. And like, you will find the right people. The right people will find you. And like, that is what you need to hold on to because you are just gonna go so far. And I would just hug them and tell them I love them so much. I love them. And I say this to people that I actually really do love. I say, I love you to the moon, to the stars, and beyond the galaxies, and never to return, because my love will never be one-sided. And so, yeah.
That's beautiful. That's a lot of love. That's a lot of love if you really think about beyond the
Yeah.
stars, beyond the galaxy right there.
Yeah.
And my second question to you is what does becoming the highest version of yourself mean to you and how are you doing that today?
But, having conversations like this, having open dialogue about things that make us uncomfortable, um, that is becoming the highest version of myself, is making sure that I am continuously doing the work for myself and making sure that that work is also being shown outside of what I do every day and continuing that because that is going to help me be the best versions of myself and allow for the best versions of myself to come.
Mm, beautiful. Beautiful. And my last question for you is if you can connect me with someone that you think would be great for this podcast, who would it be and why?
I mean, who have you haven't had that I know? Like,
Honestly, if you want to give like, you know, you can say the person and then that's completely fine. If they've been on, I don't mind doing a second episode as well.
well, I do have, well, honestly, I don't know if you know who she is, but she is a friend of mine back in Massachusetts. Her name is Giselle Rosario, and she is, I gotta figure out if she has Instagram, but um, I can send you her Instagram, and I think I think she's just done so much work for herself too. Um, and she's also like a sister of mine that I continue to just want to see the best for her. Um, and so yeah, I think there's a lot of work that she's done for herself to get to a point of like, no, I'm doing things for myself, and this is what I need to be doing for myself. And there's also just things that like I grew up with her and throughout like middle school and high school, we like did theater together.
Hmm.
So yeah, I feel like I would probably nominate her.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's yeah, we'll get talk offline, get in contact
Yeah.
and yeah, try to make it happen. So, again, Yoshi, thank you so much for your time and thank you for allowing me to be part of your space today. I know today was, it's gonna be a chill day before you have to, get back on tour, but thank you so much for everything you've offered here today. It was amazing catching up and amazing just to hear your perspective on life and how we can accept and love ourselves a little bit more every day.
Thank you so much for having me. This was honestly really, really great. And like, I love doing this, and it feels nice to do something like this.
Yes, yes. Episode second time around, maybe second time.
I mean, hey, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, guys. If you liked any of this episode, please make sure you clip it, tag me and Yoshi in it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Actually, Yoshi, do you want to plug anything right now? Whether that's your
Like,
Instagram or socials or anything
oh,
like.
yeah, you can find me at underscore y dot Masonet.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, guys. Uh, Without further ado, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow at highest version in the tags below. And as always, let's fall in love with the process of getting better every day and becoming the highest version of ourselves. Love y'all.